Well, hey there, entrepreneurs. Welcome to 30 days of the Canon M50. If you haven't already downloaded the free PDF guide on the first video, that's just about a minute long, make sure you go back to the beginning of the series, get that free PDF on the best settings for video for the Canon M50, but otherwise, let's jump into today's video. So in today's video, I want to talk about the difference between the kit lens for the Canon M50, which is the 15 to 45 millimeter lens, and the difference between the 22 millimeter prime that you can buy separately that is pretty sharp, really neat, and I really like it. So let's chat about it. So there are a lot of great things to know when it comes to using the kit lens versus using the prime lens, and I'm just going to keep this one very, very simple. Now, there is nothing wrong with using the kit lens. I did a video a while ago that talked about why you should keep your actual kit lens for your camera. You can get a lot of miles out of the kit lens, and people say, well, it's not as great as this, it's not as great as that. There's always going to be, you know, difference in quality. The more you spend on the lens versus those that just kind of come with the camera that tend to be a little bit cheaper, with the exception of the G85. This lens goes for like $600 all by itself, whereas, you know, the one that comes with the M50, it may be, you know, in $100 or $200 range, which is not bad, but in the grand scheme of things and all the lenses that's within Canon's lineup, it can be considered a little bit cheaper and will not give you the absolute best quality. But here's my thoughts when it comes to that before we go any deeper. Same thing like when you go into Walmart, Target, or any big box brand store, and you'll see, you know, this $100 TV or $200 TV on the wall over here, and the $1,000 TV over there, or $500, $600, $700, $800 TV all along the wall. And they'll try to point out to you all of these little micro differences that if you got the $100 or $200 big screen TV and you brought it home, if somebody was coming over to watch the game, all they're going to say is, wow. They're not going to say, well, it's not as great as the $800 one that I saw in Walmart. That only is really mattering when you have it directly just from screen to screen and thing like that. So don't get hung up on if you need a prime lens or not. But I just want to throw that out there before we get any deeper. So let's get to it. So I always use the kit lens at least 30 to 60 days before I invest in a prime lens. And a prime lens it doesn't zoom, it's stuck at that one specific number. So this is 22 millimeters, whereas the kit lens, I could, you know, zoom it in from 15 all the way to 45. How you doing? Let's bring it back out. And so that gives me some zoom range. But when it comes to a 22 millimeter lens, a prime lens, it'll actually go down to a lower aperture, which means that it'll be better in low light and it'll make the background blurrier, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Whereas this one only gets down to 3.5 in the aperture, so that's as blurry as it's going to get in my small office, unless I have a lot of distance between myself and the background at the low aperture. And I'll talk about that in a future video where we actually are able to get a blurry background with the kit lens and as well as the prime lens. So let's get to the prime lens, not the kit lens. Okay, so here we are on the 22 millimeter kit lens. Now, nothing has changed, and it's not as zoomed in as we were at, you know, 45 millimeters on the kit lens. But this is, you know, again, everything being the same, the setting and everything else also being the same. So now let me drop that down and let's adjust it so that it's not as bright, so it's not, you know, completely blown out. But otherwise, this is the 22 millimeter lens. Now, as you can see, I'm gonna move the camera over slightly. Those lenses are a little bit blurry, but otherwise they're okay and you can still see them. So now let's blur that background just a little bit more. Okay, so again, with nothing else being changed, all I did was lower the aperture from where it was at before, which was f3.5, and lowered it down to f2.0. So now if I show you those books again and the background back there and those boxes that are back there, you really can't see those. They're pretty blurry, if I do say so myself. And so what happens when you get a prime lens, it tends to be a little bit sharper. You get more what's called like a cinematic look, where you're able to blur the background, so you get some kind of depth of field or shallow depth of field. And all that means is, again, you get a blurry background. So let's switch back over to the 15 to 45 millimeter lens, which is the kit lens. And basically, before I jump away from this 22 millimeter, with this kit lens, it's not a bad lens. I really don't care what anybody says on YouTube. It's not a bad lens. Is it the best lens in the world? No, but it's a great little kit lens. And what happens is, when it's compacted down, it's like this. and then you open it up. It goes from 15 millimeters to 45 millimeters. Stays super small while you're vlogging. No headache, no fuss, and it's a great little lens. So let's switch back over to it. Okay, so here we are back at the kit lens. So as you can see, you get to see a little bit more when it comes to the background, those boxes in the back and the little bit of books that you can see right there. It's not, you know, as blurry, but that's okay. Again, if you get more distance between yourself and the background, you can definitely get that blurry. But the difference between the kit lens and, you know, something like the prime lens, and the reason why I picked this up is, again, because you can get some really, really blurry backgrounds. They're good in lower light situations, which when I say low light, I'm really just thinking about indoors where I don't have, you know, studio light up setups or backlight and all kinds of stuff. If I can't get the perfect lighting situations, dropping down to f2.0 make sure that I can get, you know, the scene brighter without adjusting the artificial light, which is the ISO. So you have to zoom with your feet if you need to get in closer or go backwards or move the camera or something like that. So it may be, you know, that's a little bit of a difference, but I was able to pick this up for 160 bucks on Amazon used, and for $160 for a really good lens that I can use with my M50 is totally worth it. And one more thing is that you can adapt lenses to the Canon M50 or their APS-C mirrorless lineup, like the M6, the M5, or the, you know, M3. So you can buy an adapter and actually use that with the camera, but this stays small versus having like something to the equivalent of 2 of these. It only stays this big. It doesn't zoom out or go out any further. So that's why I picked up a native lens for the M50 versus like I did before, where I got the adapter and a 50 millimeter lens, and then it winds up still being a little bit bigger, a little bit bulkier, but that option is there if you want that too, and you want, you know, even blurrier backgrounds. At the end of the day, I love the kit lens. I love the 22 millimeter lens, and they're a good little combo when it comes to, you know, first getting started, but, you know, really push the kit lens to its limits before you start investing in more and more gear, because there's a never ending lineup and Amazon will keep taking your money as long as your card goes through. So there's something to think about when you're getting into buying a bunch of stuff and listening to what everybody says that you need, you know, as far as this lens versus that lens. You can get away with a lot of great stuff just using the kit lens and a pretty cheap little prime lens.